Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, so the other day on TikTok, a woman posted up a picture of Donald Trump during his press conference on Tuesday. And I guess at one point, his jacket, maybe on his left side, opened a bit, and you could see a box-like structure there about at belt level. The thumbnail I plan on attaching to this video will show you the picture of that I'm referring to, and with a bunch of white circles around it. And the poster on TikTok said that she thought it was an LVAD, which is like a left side ventricle assisted device. Basically, it's something to help your heart pump blood. And given that we know Trump's blood pooling at his feet, he's got he has some heart problems there because his heart's not strong enough to get the blood out of his legs. Something like that would make sense. The comment section on the TikTok were great, ranging from, yeah, we all are familiar with that because I guess there was an episode of, Grey's Anatomy early on, like second season, where they had an LVAD in there, and a lot of people were reminiscing about Grey's Anatomy and how that introduced him to it. I did look up an LVAD, and it would certainly help Trump in his current condition. The problem is, it does require surgery, but it requires you also to basically be in the hospital for the next 2 to 4 weeks in recovery before they release you. And I can't imagine that that's what Trump had, and then on Tuesday he's holding a presser. And he does have some light stuff going on, basically hosting lunches and dinners. But his schedule is actually very light this week. It'll be interesting to see if he golfs. So I don't think it's an LVAD. But that led me down the rabbit hole of comments. And one thing that came up, which it could be, is a Milrinone pump. Now, a Milrinone pump is a little bit different shaped, but, it could fit the shape of that. It's inserted by putting like a tubing through your leg, like the artery or the vein in your leg. I think it's the artery in your leg, and it doesn't require surgery. And there's very little recovery time on that one. So that could be something that's done. And it could be used for palliative care for end-stage heart failure patients. It's a continuous home infusion pump. It helps you manage symptoms, improve quality of life, and reduce hospital readmissions by increasing cardiac contractility and blood flow. It can offer symptom relief, but long-term use may increase mortality risk. And they use it as a bridge to decision or end-of-life care. It's like you can do this while you're either waiting for a transplant or to get an LVAD. Now, Trump is not a good quality for a transplant. 1, he's almost 80 years old. 2, he's not a compliant patient. He doesn't eat well. He doesn't exercise well. So why would you waste a perfectly good heart in this guy? So that's something it could be. But then that also led me over to another commenter said, well, what if he had a pacemaker put in? And a pacemaker, and there's various types from leadless to more traditional pacemakers, but that's an outpatient surgery. And then you just have to kind of take it easy for 2 weeks or a couple of weeks. You can't lift anything over 10 pounds, and you can't lift your arms above your head, which means that Trump can't golf. He can't hit a driver shot off of the tee because your arms would go above your head because you're swinging a golf club, or your arms above your shoulder. You can't do this unless you see him, doing little half swings there. So I would be really curious to see if Trump golfs over the next 2 weekends. Then I looked, can you get a pacemaker and a Milrinone pump at the same time? And yes, you can, But it does say that because of risk of arrhythmias, that you might need a slightly different type of pacemaker, an implantable cardioverter defibrillator. Basically, it gives your heart a shock. And again, that one is basically the same as a pacemaker. It's you could go home, stay the same day, or stay one night. Basically, all you're going to be is sore, and you might have some bruising. Avoid lifting, pulling, or twisting your arm for 4 to 6 weeks. Activities: avoid strenuous activities that strain your upper arm muscle. Trump doesn't have to worry about stuff like that. So, I'm guessing Trump had a minor surgical procedure during the time that he was not available. And I'm pretty sure Gary and I have done readings on Trump's health in the past where we said pay attention to when he disappears. And there's no good explanation for it. And they give us something like, oh, he's just going to Camp David to rest for a few days or something like that. Because the dude never goes to Camp David. Or he goes to Mar-a-Lago or something like that. Because that's when they're going to get all sneaky and stealthy and try and do stuff on the sly. Sly on the side of slide. And that's exactly what happened, right? He disappeared for several days, and they were being coy about it and putting up fake pictures of him. And then they come out on Tuesday and gaslight you and say there was never anything wrong in the first place. What a bunch of conspiracy theorists and left-wing lunatics you are. Let's take a look and see what the cards say. That Queen of Coins on the bottom here. So, did Donald Trump have surgery, medical surgery, during the period from Tuesday of last week through Labor Day? Okay? That's what I want to know. Come on down. Let's take a look. Five of Wands. Okay, so a lot of frenzied activity going on with this. Crossed with the Seven of Cups. Integrity, being realistic, maybe being a little bit delulu and out to lunch, and then Judgment. I think during that time frame, what this is saying, that there was a lot of decision and activity around him as to what was the best thing to do that you could reasonably do with him in the time frame that you had. We got it. Basically, they ran out of time and had to do something. What do we do? How do we get the best of all worlds with this? In the past, you get the Three of Cups. What does the Three of Cups mean in this? Don't pause. Just keep going with it. What does the Three of Cups mean? The celebration, raising their cups to it. I don't know if they're just talking about how, Trump will live he's been elected, he'll live forever. Maybe he's had small events before, but he's always recovered from it. That might be it. You can only lie, in some ways you can only lie about your health so much, but the cups aren't usually health cards. They're usually emotions and friendship cards. I just think, people always prop him up thinking he'll live forever. The current situation is the Six of Coins, though. But, all good health comes to an end. And then you need some assistance. Might need some pills. Maybe the pills were no longer working. The High Priestess. Secrets being kept regarding that. This could also be just the crumbs that are being thrown out to the media with regards to his health. Lesson to be learned is the Eight of Wands. They had to move fast. Now, it was funny because you saw all sorts of stories about the road being blocked off, and he saw his presidential motorcade and ambulance head off somewhere. Then there were reports of, like, the Marine One helicopters flying off towards the direction of Howard Reed Medical Center, or Walter Reed, excuse me. But there's also thoughts that he could be having it done inside there, but I think he would go to Walter Reed for that. It just feels like decisions need to be made quickly. Out comes the Five of Swords. They might have nearly lost him. Am I misreading this? Is this answering another question? A lot of confusion and activity, and there's like no good answers that they could do. Well, normally they're happy and they're confident. The situation they found themselves in, I think, is like, we have to do something now. We need to show some generosity to this person. We got to keep it secret. We got to move quickly. We can't let anybody know. You know, again, I don't think he died, but this just tells me that something happened and there was a lot of activity around him and they needed to move quickly. He had people around him that supported him and are currently supporting him. Probably, you know, doctors like Ronnie Jackson or something like that got him through. On there, I guess I'll ask some 4-card questions to see if we can nail this down. I'm sorry, it's not as definitive as I would normally like the question to be. And I don't know if that means I'm barking up the wrong tree. Normally I just ask about the energy around what's going on with Trump during that health issue, and those cards would fit it fine. Did Trump undergo surgery? Outpatient surgery. Okay, let's just ask this way. Did Trump have a pacemaker inserted? Did Trump have any form of pacemaker inserted during that recent lull in activity for him before Labor Day? King of Pentacles. Big health concerns. Having to do something different. Judgment. Temperance. He did have a health event. And he had to be careful with his health. And his health was evaluated. And then they turned him upside down and they shook him really hard. Making cotton candy out of him. Now, there's... okay. Whatever the surgery, whatever was done for him, I was going to say he's going to get a head rush because all the blood's going to his head, right? Which means that it was something to do with getting the blood out of his ankles. See how that works? And it's something they couldn't put off anymore. And underneath it all, it's like they had the time to do it, and he has the time to recover. So it has to be something light and outpatient-y. So I think that's going to get rid of the LVAD. That'll be the death knell for the LVAD. Would a pacemaker do that? A pacemaker isn't going to help you get the blood out of your ankles. It'll help your heart beat regularly, but it's not going to help get the blood out of your ankles. So that's going to lead me back to the, I can't never pronounce this right, the Milrinone pump. Did he have something like a Milrinone pump put in? Outpatient Milrinone therapy has been known for use for palliative care for end-stage congestive heart failure. Did he have a Milrinone pump put in? Eight of Cups, the walking away, emotionally distancing. The World card, bringing things to an end. Ace of Pentacles, big health event. Three of Wands, looking forward to it. Seven of Wands, have the energy to fight and power through something. I'm thinking so. It's like he ran out of time to make choices. You know, cups. There's a lot of water around this guy walking. The emotional loss. It's like he ran out of runway emotionally speaking. He had to do something. His health needed to be addressed right now. He had done everything he could, and he was at a rope's end. So now you're going to have to go off and try something different, because doing what you're doing before, although this guy's showing him fighting off all these things, ultimately for this fellow it's going to be a losing battle. Why? Even though he's got the advantages, there's too many enemies. He's going to wear out over time. So you have to do something bigger, or else you're going to go to the, as Susan Lin, your spiritual guide would say, he's going to go to the McDonald's, the great big McDonald's in the sky. If it wasn't a Mil Renault pump, it was something like that. How about this one? For Carter Spirit, did he have something done to help him improve his blood flow, his heart conditions, and address either heart failure or renal failure, because those do go hand in hand? I mean, there's clearly something there. We just don't know what it is. And of course, they're not going to tell us, right? It's a mystery. The Empress had to take care of his health. Needs recovery. He needs rest. Big health event again. Evaluating his health. Being secretive about it. A loss. The Minor Arcana Death card. Did he have any procedure done? He definitely needed rest. He's closer to the end than he really wants to be. I think he certainly had his health evaluated, and there was a suggestion to do something to help his health. This is the same card I think I got when I was asking if Trump would be around by the solstice, or by the equinox, excuse me. In the moon card, the secrets. He definitely had something done, and not the least of which he really does need to take care of his health. There's just what's happening to him between his own ego and the fear of those around him. They're going to blow that guy up. Trump is not going to fall asleep one night and pass. He's going to literally explode in front of us. Dan Graney's right. It's going to be very public and undeniable. Spirit, what else do you want to tell us about Trump's disappearance and the appearance of what looks like a medical infusion or pumping device at his side? There's another type of pumping device that worked too. Unfortunately, I can't find it in my searches. So it may not be any of the ones I've talked about. But I think he definitely had something. Is there anything else you can enlighten us with his device? It's about his health again, and it's something new. Also, I don't think he doesn't take care of himself, and it's going to be his undoing. This is the strength card, but I think he's getting weaker. He's getting weaker, and he had to do something different. There we go with the celebration card. Everyone around him cheers this guy on, but they're going to cheer him on to his death. Current situation is the King of Wands. A choice needed to be made. There's the choices. You can't sit on the fence anymore. You're going to have to do something about it. Basically, he ran out of time. He had to make a decision. he needs to go away and relax. He needs to get away from this. And he looks like he may be doing that soon. If not, what we've got is more wand energy coming up in the next 3 weeks, say. Either he's going to take a vacation or something not good is going to happen to him, probably in 3 weeks' time. Judgment card. It's somewhere between now and maybe the 25th. Again, the equinox, I believe, is the 21st or 22nd. He needs to make a choice as to what he's going to do with his health. The best thing he can do is rest and relax. Okay, so I don't know what else to throw. I mean, he had those bumps under his eyes, but that's just weird. Not sure what those are all about. Somebody did a look at that, and they saw that happens with COVID-19 patients, but I don't think he had COVID-19. You'd hear him coughing all the time, and he wasn't doing that. From what I was seeing, though, that he was moving very stiffly. He didn't want to move his arms, or basically very stiff, very wooden in his appearance. And again, if you had some surgery, you probably would, you might stand there and be a poster, sort of a scarecrow, as it were, just to get through things. When they started the broadcast, he was already standing by the podium, and I think they ended the broadcast with him by the podium, so we haven't actually seen him walk any steps. Now, that could have changed since then. Maybe there is a video of him walking around, but there's some smoke and mirrors going on, I would think, with this. Okay, we'll leave it there for now, and what'll happen will happen. And honestly, folks, he's at the end. He truly is at the end. And the problem with him being at the end is he's going to be at his absolute worst, because he really has nothing left to lose, and he's going to get more and more desperate as he has nothing left to lose. So really going to require folks outside of our sphere of influences to really stand up for what is right for this country, because this guy is just going to become more and more unhinged until he explodes. And then we'll be left picking up the pieces. Ugh. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.